So, is Trump just getting tired? Did he just decide not to go ahead with his plans to invade Chicago or something? Like, what's going on here? Trump? Are you getting eepy? I mean, he has been getting a lot more sleepy recently. Like, he's been constantly dozing off on camera. What is this? He wants to send National Guard troops heading to Memphis to fight crime. So the plan that he had, because JB Pritzker was definitely not going to participate in a lot of like Trump's idiotic belligerence, stupid bullshit and nonsense. He made that very, very fucking clear, saying like, no, like, fuck off, Trump. Like, suck our dick, eat my shit. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, we're not gonna tolerate any of this bullshit of you basically just trying to make the lives of people worse within fucking Illinois, specifically in Chicago, because of like your narrative saying that, oh, there's a lot of crime going on in Chicago, when that's just not the case. But whatever, sure, cool, fantastic. You can just like keep claiming that there is a ton of crime in Chicago when there is none. But sure, cool, fantastic, excellent. So he either would go to Tennessee, which Tennessee is a Republican state, so he feels like he could probably have an easier time. So because he wanted to go in with a bunch of guard troops from Texas instead of trying to federalize Illinois, because it just didn't work out for him like he would thought within California, because he got sued for it. And so he decided not to do the same thing in Illinois, saying like, well, fuck, JB Pritzker's definitely going to sue me, so we're not going to deal with that shit. And he would rather go to Memphis, where he probably has a significantly more sympathetic governor. What do we have here? Music. On Fox and Friends, he announced plans to deploy National Guard to Memphis. This is very loud.
We're going to Memphis. Memphis is
That's the next city.
deeply troubled. And the mayor is happy. He's a Democrat mayor. The mayor is happy.
I mean, again, it's so strange. Again, like, it's the crime narrative. Is crime going down in Memphis, right? I think Memphis has a very, very high like murder rate or some shit. I like, this video gets into it, but is crime as rampant as it is? From what I understand, in Memphis, just like every other Democratic run city, there are initiatives going on that have had their funding cut because of Donald Trump, making it harder to do those particular initiatives because Trump keeps cutting their funding, and it's been having success in bringing down crime. Keep in mind, a quick reminder for everyone who doesn't know, the reason why there was a spike in crime was because of COVID. It was because of COVID. That's why there was a historic spike in crime. That, again, I'll consistently say this. Every time that there's seemingly like a problem that Trump is claiming exists within the United States, very often if you peel back the curtain and do like even like 3 seconds of thinking about it or some form of analysis, you can generally speaking just come to the conclusion it's just like, oh, he had a part to play in it. He had a part to play in it. He's part of the reason why it is like this. So I don't know. It's one of those situations where it's like, I don't know. Spare me the fucking nonsense, bro. Like, Trump, you were part of the reasoning for as to why deteriorating material conditions happened within like all these Democrat-run cities, because, well, you're a conspiracy theorist who just decided to let COVID run rampant throughout major fucking cities. Like, buddy, you're part of the problem.
And the governor, Tennessee. The governor is happy. Deeply troubled. We're going to fix that just like we did Washington.
So, like, it's just, there's just no evidence to say that the crime was as rampant. But Muriel Bowser decided to go ahead with that fucking dipshit ass framing because she felt like her hands were too tied. Because DC is under direct federal control, which, I mean, technically speaking is the case, but you could just be like, there's just no evidence that this is the case. This is very stupid. But she decided to capitulate and just be like, well, I don't want to get owned by the president. So it's like, all right, so you're a coward? Cool, great. Some numbers. Crime in Memphis. All you need to know. September 12th, Memphis. Thank you. So while Memphis has experienced recent declines for many offenses, homicide and motor vehicle theft remained well above 2019 levels. Homicides for the first half of 2025 were 58% higher than the first half of 2019, and motor vehicle theft levels were double what they were in the first 6 months of 2025, compared to the same period in 2019. In contrast, reported carjacking and robbery incidents were 45% and 23% lower over this time frame. I wonder why the murder rate, the homicide rate, and also the vehicle theft rate is going up. It's curious, but everything else is going down. Interesting. Figure 1 shows Memphis's homicide rate in 6-month intervals. So it's higher than in 2019, but it's still lower than it was during fucking COVID. Actually, no. Even during COVID, it's higher. It went up, and then it started to go back down. So in 2023, it decided to go up. I mean, this was like peak around COVID, where it was going down. But it's when COVID was starting to stop. But now it's going down. Why are we saying only 2019 in comparison to 2019? Right? So I guess there's been some anti-crime initiatives that were going on right now, and they seem to be working. Like, the homicide rate is going down in comparison. Well, that's a little interesting. What about the robbery rates? Well, this has just only been going down, so far it's been successful. The initiatives. Carjackings, just also going down. Domestic violence went down, but seems to have plateaued for the time being, but has gone down overall in comparison to 2018. Residential burglary, also going down in comparison to 2018-2019. So that's going down. So broadly speaking, it seems like just two seeming outliers with the homicide and car theft, but everything else is going down, which means the community initiatives that Memphis has introduced is, well, it's all going down. Larceny's gone down, gun thefts. It's just the homicide. Shoplifting has gone back up. That's interesting. First half 22% lower in comparison to the first half of 2019 in comparison to here. I guess it's because all the shops were technically closed, so people couldn't get in and steal stuff, and that's why it went down during COVID. I think that makes sense. Motor vehicle theft. What? Holy shit. Man, that's a huge increase, and it's just higher than it was. Yeah, twice as high in comparison to 2019, but in comparison to the spike here, it's been going down. So crime has just generally been going down. Drug offenses, everything's just been going down, basically. Interesting. What were the homicides again? Homicides. I want to see those graphs again. There it is. So lower than it was. Definitely up in comparison to it was in 2019. But overall, it's been going down. So, I don't know if Trump knows this basic concept, but if you do certain policies and you do certain community initiatives, it takes time for them to take effect. That's how it works. So deploying the National Guard and also taking away funding from those initiatives, it's going to make things worse. If anything, it's going to just, throw a wrench in the works for a lot of work that's been going on. And if anything, I wouldn't be surprised, again, if homicide rates and crime decides to go back up because of, breaks in community trust and all this stuff, right? I mean, this has been what's reported in LA, that the National Guard deployments and all the ICE deployments have only damaged, community trust. And, with community trust being down, that makes crime go back up. Because if you live in a low-trust society, you're not going to think of your other fellow man as a fellow man. So, generally speaking, it makes it such that crime goes up. It's complete nonsense. But Trump doesn't believe in the concept of trust because he's a sociopathic narcissist. So, I don't know. It's only going to make things worse. I wouldn't be surprised if not the homicide, but if the crime rate generally goes up because of these National Guard deployments, and then the Republicans can just try to use that for another political point, because again, for them, it's all about politics in the end. Wonder what the breakdown is between immigrant versus native born? That's a good question. Highest rates of murder. Same interview, Trump said he would prefer sending them to Chicago. Well, he's pushing out of that because JB Pritzker is going to be like, no, fuck off. Would it be crazy to say that JB Pritzker might deploy the Illinois National Guard against Trump's attempted deployment of the Texas National Guard and just be like, no, fuck off. You're not going to be doing any of this shit. You can go fuck yourself. That'd be fucking crazy. What, National Guard fucking standoff? That'd be wild. Might bring in the military if we need it. I don't think it's really needed, though. Like, let's be honest here. It would be insane. For sure, Alex. But, like, we've taken a look through all the graphs, and it seems like the community initiatives that Memphis is doing, similar to every other Democratic city, is working. The crime rate overall, in comparison, well, for all metrics of crime, have been going down. So, I don't know, throwing gas on a fire for, like, no reason. Deploying National Guard, Memphis. We're going to Memphis, he said on September 12th. Fox and Friends. Memphis deeply troubled. Adding Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, Republican ally of Trump, and the Democratic Mayor Paul Young are both happy about the plans. Oh, so I guess the mayor is just deciding to fucking capitulate for, like, no reason? Okay, whatever. However, Young said hours later that he did not request the National Guard, but he had been in communication with federal officials seeking additional aid to supplement local crime-fighting efforts. Never mind. Talking about... now, this makes a lot more sense, right? Because Trump, with his one big, beautiful bill, has said that, yeah, like, because he decided to cut a bunch of aids and grants to help community-oriented crime fighting, because again, like I said before, if trust is as low as possible, it makes it such that people are going to seek more private solutions which benefit corporations, which Trump is okay because he's a beneficiary of stuff like that with the overall Republican Party. He wants to basically make it such that any public initiative, any community initiative is as difficult to pull as possible. Makes sense, right? I do not think it's the way to drive down crime. However, that decision has been made, Young said during a news conference. As the mayor and the city of Memphis, my career is to make sure that we work strategically to ensure that this happens in a way that truly benefits and strengthens our community. I mean, this is like a fine statement, I suppose, but like just say like, no, this is like stupid and dumb. Just attack Trump for this because it's not going to be popular. Broadly speaking, like if we take it look like polling at this, people, broadly speaking, are not very big fans in terms of all this like National Guard fucking deployment. It's down in terms of polling. That's why it's fucking stupid. Like, because they keep seeing images of like National Guardsmen picking up trash off of the ground and just like milling about, not doing anything. And you know what they think? Like in their minds, it's like, oh, this is what my fucking tax dollars are going to this. Just have some random dudes with guns just milling about, not doing anything. It's very stupid. And yeah, exactly, Alex. Yeah, they're not even trained for this. So that's why it's like it's really fucking stupid. But then again, the only reason why Trump is doing this is because he wants to do military occupation. It's all about the fucking occupation for him. He just wants to be a fucking dictator. It's all about the authoritarian power grab with him. Memphis, which has long struggled with crime, had the highest rates of murder and other violent crimes of any large city in the country in 2024. Well, I mean, whereas everything else has been going down, but that's cool, whatever. FBI said from 30 cities with more than 500,000 residents, Memphis is the highest. Very cool. Memphis mayor, no authority to stop troops. Yeah, he's not technically wrong when he says this. He can't stop them because, again, more than likely, since the Republican governor that's in power is going to work with the administration, there's nothing he can really do to stop the deployment of the National Guard because the mayor is just going to be complicit with what Trump is doing, which is illegal, by the way, but whatever. Trump discussed he's going to deploy National Guard troops to Chicago, which I guess he's now backing off of, which is very, very weak. I would have preferred going to Chicago, which JB Pritzker would not have taken down. Well, basically, he would not have sitting around just taking that shit down. Like that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fucking standoff between the other states' National Guard troops, because again, his main plan was to bring in Texas National Guard into Illinois, into Chicago specifically, to try to do the occupation there. And JB Pritzker said, like, no the fuck you're not. And might have even mobilized his National Guard troops to be like, nope, fuck you. You're not doing this. You can fuck right off with the stupid bullshit. When asked if he was happy about the troops coming to Memphis, Young said, it was an overstatement. He added that he was focused on additional resources, including getting FBI and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms officers to Memphis. I think that's what he wanted, I guess. That's really fucking weird. Those are the things that I believe will truly help us to be able to support law enforcement and reduce violent crime. I do not support the National Guard. However, they are the governor's call. Well, they're going to be coming to Memphis. Which is, again, it's not going to be a popular move. Like, the polling on this is suggesting that all these, like, stupid occupations that Trump is trying to do is just not popular. It's very stupid. Grateful for Trump's focus on Memphis. Trump did not say how many National Guard troops he plans to deploy in Memphis, the second largest city in Tennessee behind Nashville. We're bringing the military too, if needed. Lee said in a statement that he welcomed the Guard's deployment, saying he had been in constant communication with the Trump administration for months about a plan to combat crime in Memphis. Okay, so you want to combat crime? The community initiatives were fucking working, man. Like, you took away funding from that. You're the problem again. I don't know, every single time it's just like, Trump is the problem, Trump is the problem. You look inside, it's like, oh, Trump's the fucking problem. He's the one who's, like, incentivizing crime to be worse because, again, he needs a narrative for people to not focus on the fact that his policies are fucking dog shit. So that's cool. He said the operation will include Tennessee National Guard, FBI, and other law enforcement agencies working with the state and local agencies. The goal is to complement an FBI initiative called Operation Viper. Very cool. Grateful for the president, yada, yada, yada. Lee's consent will ease deployments and will likely permit other states to send National Guard troops in a state-controlled status, permitting them to directly assist in law enforcement. Again, which is what the National Guard is not meant to do. But like I said before, the point is the military occupation. He thinks like he can wield the National Guard as his own personal military, that's not what they're supposed to do. He wants to just do authoritarian power grab bullshit. He wants to make a bet that all of the Republican-run towns and cities within Tennessee have significantly higher fucking goddamn crime rates in comparison. Whatever. Doesn't matter to this complete utter moron. Standing behind Noah Young was Congressman Steve Cohen, Tennessee's lone Democratic congressman who represents Memphis, along with Memphis Police Department Chief Saralyn C.J. Davis, Memphis Tourism President and CEO Kevin Kane, and newly elected Shelby County Commission Chairwoman Shantae K. Advent. Yeah, from what I understand, Memphis is, like, split into two parts, like Shelby County and the city of Memphis itself. So you need the perspectives of both of them. It's a little weird. They all took exception with Trump's characterization of Memphis. It's not a troubled city, as President Trump said. We have a crime problem. He blamed the city's crime rate on the effects of slavery, segregation, and underinvestment. Can't really disagree with that. I mean, he literally cut funding for community initiatives within Memphis, so I don't think that's inaccurate to say. In the short run, the Guard can help police in a supportive role, Cohen run. In the long run, Memphis needs federal dollars invested in proven programs. Which, again, given the fact that we've been looking at these statistics, all these, metrics have been going down. They've all been going down, so it's been proven that they've been working. So, it's whatever. Can't have any form of community trust be built yet again, because if community trust is built in the mind of President Trump, that means his political project is not going to be as effective. That's why he's doing what he's doing. 1 month into his crime crackdown in Washington, D.C., which has involved deploying more than 22,000 National Guard troops to patrol the streets, but unlike other American cities, D.C. status as a federal enclave gives Trump special authority to deploy National Guard troops, and the state's governors traditionally oversee mobilizations. Which, again, this is why I've been saying what he did in California with the deployment of the National Guard was illegal. You can't do that. You have to get the consent of the governor, and he did it without the consent of the governor. So that's cool. He directed and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth to coordinate with state governors to determine whether National Guard troops are needed in their communities. I mean, obviously, since the Republican in power, he's going to say, like, yes, and just capitulate immediately because he's just a sycophant. Trump recounted hearing from a board member of FedEx, which based in Memphis, about the city's crime problem. Oh. So he heard it from some one executive dude, and that's why it's just like, oh yeah, dude, that's why there's so much fucking crime. He said when I walk one block from my hotel, they won't allow me to do it. They put me in an armored vehicle with bulletproof glass to take me 1 block. He said it's so terrible, without identifying the individual. Of course. Of course, it's all because of one stupid dumbass saying, like, oh, the crime is so terrible and awful, which means you need to do a military occupation, guys. Yeah, fucking, get the fucking ducks out. Get the ducks. They're smoking. They're smoking. They're smoking. Classic as always. It's always because of one stupid fucking out of touch rich elitist saying, like, yeah, it's actually really, really bad, guys. Trump has hailed his crime crackdown in Washington, D.C. as a wild success, even as D.C. Muriel Bowser has agreed to an increased federal presence and has helped reduce the number of homicides, carjackings, and gun crimes. Yet, Bowser has also said the federal intervention has led to a break in trust between the community and law enforcement. I mean, yeah, obviously, if Trump is just going to randomly deploy guard members to just, like, pick up trash off the fucking street, like, I'm pretty sure, and, like, put a bunch of people in fear, like, they're probably not going to be particularly happy about that. It makes sense. Like, it's just like, I mean, I think the reason why the break in trust is happening is because people are looking at Muriel Bowser specifically saying, like, dog, I mean, you just kind of let it happen. So that's why they're probably particularly pissed about this. Like, I mean, you just kind of just let him do whatever. So that's cool. Trump, meanwhile, has exaggerated the scale of the turnaround, saying that the district has literally no crime and describing a city where people were too scared to eat at restaurants before his takeover. See, the funniest thing about that is because of the curfew and the fucking occupation, it's actually made it such that people are less likely to want to go out and go to restaurants and stuff like that. So, I mean, he's just doing this because he just wants a nice, clear city of all the poors and all the degenerates and peasants for him to go to, like, nice steakhouses. Very, very cool. Yeah, he's going to say that now and then say crime went up or something. Like, because, again, it doesn't matter. The point is relatively simple. He just wants to do military occupation. That's all it is. It's all part of authoritarian power grab. Now, Trump announced his takeover. Violent crime was already down in D.C. 26% from 2024. According to the police department there, Trump administration has faced lawsuits over the National Guard deployment in Washington, as well as from Gavin Newsom, which I believe has been successful at this point, after the president ordered guard troops into Los Angeles to combat protests. Yeah, all because of, like, 5 turned over Waymo vehicles. Like, that was the excuse Trump used to deploy National Guard within Los Angeles. Some dude ordered 5 Waymos, they turned them over and fucking burned them down, which is so fucking funny to me, dude. So I don't know, like, what else is there to really say besides Trump is trying to just do the military occupation. Again, it's the same fucking shit. Now he wants to do it in fucking goddamn Memphis instead, because he feels like he's not going to be able to get away with it if he tries to pulling that shit in Illinois, because JB Pritzker's just like, no, you're not pulling this shit in Illinois. You can go fuck yourself. All this bullshit that you're trying to pull, I'm not fucking tolerating it. We're not accepting it. No, you can go fuck yourself. So yeah, I don't know what else is there to say besides, again, Tim Pot Dictator wants to do his Tim Pot Dictator shit. I don't know. That's really about all there is to say about this, I think. He just wants to be a fucking dictator.